All right, guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about something pretty exciting. Ilia Topuria recently came out and said that he is no longer going to be fighting at featherweight. He's going to give up the belt, vacate, and he's going to move up to 155. I did not see this coming. I didn't know that he was struggling with weight cutting issues. I knew that he's relatively big for the division, like physicality wise, but he's not tall or anything like that. So I didn't really know that he was struggling this much. Apparently, he's walking at like 195, 180, and people are like surprised by that. I'm not that surprised. He's shorter than me, but I walk around at around 190. So, and I'm not super ripped like Ilia. So maybe there's a difference there. But I was pretty surprised that he has to move up because of weight cutting issues. Maybe he just wants to be more comfortable, doesn't want to risk it with the chin. I know from the beginning he's always said that he wants to retire early, around 30. So he's not one of those guys who continues to fight long after they're in their prime. And good for him. Honestly, good for him. He came into the UFC. No one really knew about him. He was a pick'em to Yusuf Zalal, beat him, flies up the rankings, goes to 155. People forget about this one. He goes to 155 against Jai Herbert. He did get hurt, but then he brutally knocked out Jai, and then goes back to 45, gets another few wins, fights for the title, knocks out one of the greatest of all time, one of the best featherweights of all time in Alexander Volkanovski, and then waits a second, and then knocks out one of the other greatest of all time featherweights, Max Holloway, and finishes him. I believe it was the second round when he knocked him out. So normally I would like him to defend a few more times, especially because there's so many matchups that I really want to see with him. I really want to see him fight Diego Lopez. I really want to see him fight Movsar Evloev. And that's really the only ones who come to mind right now. But 145 is a good division. We have Gene Silva coming up in the wings too. I think Gene Silva, a couple more wins. Him versus Ilia Topuria would have been awesome. Complete violence. Wish we could have seen that, but at this rate, I don't think we're ever going to. And yeah, I'm disappointed I won't see those matchups, but and maybe he will do one more. Maybe he will do one more and he'll fight Diego Lopez or something, or Movsar Evloev. But I don't think he will. I believe him when he says that he's not going to do it, that he wants to go up. And while it's not my favorite thing, you can't really ask for much more after knocking out the two featherweight greatest of all times and giving Max Holloway his first ever knockout loss. So I can't blame him too much. Now, I want to talk about how he's going to do at 155. It's a good question. I don't think they're going to do that thing where he moves up and then has to fight a few more, because usually when it's the champion moving up, he or she goes straight to the championship fight. I know that some guys like Aljamain Sterling, Davison Figueiredo, when they moved up, they had to have a few fights first, but they weren't champ when they moved up. They had both lost and then moved up. With him, he's champ. He just had those crazy 2 wins over Volkanovski and Max Holloway, 2 of the GOATs. And I think they're going to put him straight into the title picture. So that's going to be either against Islam or Arman, whoever wins at UFC 311. And I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like he's just going to be too small. I feel like he's not going to be able to compete with the physicality of those two guys. Both Arman, both Islam, they're good everywhere Ilia is. Ilia might be a better striker than them. He might be a better pure boxer. His boxing is nasty. His striking is nasty. He's extremely fast, and his jiu-jitsu is really good. But in terms of Islam is an amazing wrestler, extremely strong, also a really good striker, and also has elite grappling. So I think that against Islam, Ilia would probably struggle. And while I really like Ilia Topuria, he's one of my favorite fighters, I don't think that he would beat Islam personally. And then against Arman, I also don't really think so. I think Arman is pretty close to Islam in skill level. The only thing he's missing is the jiu-jitsu. Topuria will have the better grappling there in terms of just pure jiu-jitsu. But in terms of wrestling, Arman is a better wrestler, in my opinion. He's going to be much stronger, much more physical. And in the striking, Topuria might be a little bit better than Arman, but I think Arman is also a really good striker now. He's really developed that part of his game. So while I think Ilia would be competitive, I don't necessarily think he would become champion at lightweight. I wish he could do it. I like Islam and Arman too. Again, another 2 of my favorites, but I wouldn't mind if Topuria became a double champ. That would be sweet, but I don't think he's going to personally. Now, if they give him other matchups, like I think he could probably beat Gaethje. Him versus Oliveira, I think that's the fight he actually asked for now that I'm thinking about it. So maybe they won't put him right into the title picture. Maybe first they're going to do him versus Oliveira in like a title eliminator. And they could probably make that a pay-per-view too. They don't even have to make them a co-main event or anything. That would sell. And that would be so sick. That would be a really fun fight. Oliveira looked fantastic against Chandler. He showed some offensive wrestling that hasn't really been a part of his game recently. I mean, beforehand, and now it is. And he was able to take Chandler down, control him, take his back, do all kinds of stuff. He looked very good. And the way they match up, I think Ilia would probably knock him out personally, because on the feet, Charles is really good too. And Ilia can be chinned. We saw him get hurt against Jai Herbert. And Charles hits really hard, and he's a great striker. But Ilia, I think, is more durable than Charles. I think has better recovery. And I think that he would knock down Charles. And the thing with Charles is his weapon is always, okay, you knocked me down. Now come follow me to the ground and try to finish me, because his jiu-jitsu is elite off of his back. But Ilia won't be scared. Ilia would be similar to Armin or Islam in that he would know that he can defend himself in whatever Charles throws his way. And I think Ilia would follow him to the ground and be able to win minutes, maybe finish him there, or on the feet, just keep letting him back up, outbox him, and knock him out. So that would be a really fun fight, but a fight where I feel like Topuria would probably win, and that would get him into that title picture, and he would fight the winner of Armin or Islam, and it would be really fun to see. And that's it, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time.